from Los Angeles, California, our good friend, Joseph D. Hippolito, freelance soccer writer. Joseph, welcome.
Anthony, thanks for having me on.
Pleasure to have you on. An explosive day. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to finish. So let me ask you this, and then we'll move from there. What has some of the big wigs at U.S. Soccer, like Sunil Gulati, guys like Bruce Arena, on and on, what have they said about this explosive day in the game that we love so much?
Well, right now, the only thing that U.S. Soccer has done is issue a statement saying that they support integrity and transparency in the international game and that they will wait until the investigation concludes before they comment. I have not heard Bruce Arena say anything yet. A lot of this happened really today when the Galaxy was on the training pitch, so it's not, I don't think he really has a reaction to it right now. But there's one thing to keep in mind regarding all of this. This didn't start with Joseph Blatter. This started more than 40 years ago in 1974 when João Havelange, the Brazilian, was challenging Stanley Roos, who was the sitting FIFA president. He was an Englishman, for the presidency of FIFA. Havelange got his support essentially by telling members of federations in Africa, South America, and Asia that if you vote for me, I will send money your way to help build your programs. What made that particularly effective was that Roos at the time wanted FIFA to remain a European club, essentially, at the expense of even South America. So a lot of people thought that this would be the right time to replace Stanley Roos. Ever since then, the idea of sending money to overseas, ostensibly for development programs, but in actuality to buy allegiance, that has been standard operating procedure at FIFA for the past 40 years. Never forget that Joseph Blatter was João Havelange's protege. And never forget also that Havelange was one of those who had to resign in disgrace when a lot of corruption concerning the building of soccer infrastructure in Brazil before last year's World Cup was revealed.
And let me tell you this, I don't think we can never forget this day. It'll go down in history on what a huge part North America, CONCACAF, have played in this explosive day. Warner, Webb, Chuck Blazer, the NASL, on and on. It's unbelievable, Joseph. Everyone talks about Europe, South America, Asia, Russia, you name it, the Middle East, on and on and on. But the bulk of the story today, the explosive stories, have come from this region. Talk about it.
It's come from this region because a lot of the bribery involved tournaments like the Gold Cup, this year's edition, the edition 2 years ago. It also involved the centennial edition of Copa America, which will be played in the United States for the first time next year. But there is going to be a lot more that's going to be uncovered in the next few days and weeks, and a lot of it is going to center around other tournaments. There was about $10 billion bribes totaling $10 billion for South Africa to get the 2010 World Cup. There were bribes totaling billions for Brazil to get the World Cup. So it wouldn't surprise anybody if Russia and Qatar had to bribe their way to get the World Cups of 2018 and 2022.
And let's stop there, Joseph. Let's talk about that, because that's the talk today again, that a lot of people are thinking that Russia and Qatar could be stripped of these World Cups. I don't think so. I think it's a massive long shot because already too much money has been sinked into building stadiums. Time has been invested on, and I don't think that right now they can go back and take it away from Qatar or Russia. Your thoughts on those two?
A lot of that is going to involve international contract law. When you look at the bid books that each organizing committee submits to FIFA to get a World Cup, those bid books essentially are preliminary contracts. When FIFA accepts a particular organizing committee's bid, it accepts that preliminary contract and builds upon that. For FIFA, if it still exists, and that's something I want to go into in a moment, for FIFA or any successor organization to strip Russia or Qatar of the World Cup, I think you are going to find people in those countries filing suit, and it would get to the World Court, because we're talking about international contract law. Now, as far as FIFA is concerned, I really think FIFA is dead as an organization. I'm not just talking about Blatter. I'm not talking about individual executives or members of the executive committee. I'm talking about FIFA as an organization is dead. In the coming weeks, you are going to see so much dirt exposed. You're going to see how pervasive and ingrained this culture of corruption has been, that a lot of people are going to be so sick of it that they're going to think it's time for a completely new organization with completely new bylaws and probably a completely new name to put FIFA into the ground for good. The question is, if that happens, will that successor organization take on the contracts that the predecessor FIFA engaged in? If it does, then there really isn't any dispute about Russia or Qatar holding on to the World Cup. If it doesn't, all bets are off.
I got to tell you this, Joseph. I think the Attorney General and the staff there in the U.S. did a marvelous job, and they keep telling us they're not done. There's more to come. There's more to come. I think if there's more to come, somewhere along the line, I call him Teflon Don or Teflon Sepp, somewhere along the line, something's got to come up to put the spotlight on Sepp, embarrass him to the point that he says, you know what, I'm out, I'm done, I've given my time, it's time for me to step away. What do you think?
I don't think Sepp Blatter will ever get to that point, because he's too power hungry and he's too disconnected from reality to accept the fact that his career as FIFA president essentially is done. Even if he gets reelected on Friday, assuming they have the election on Friday, because there's been some talk that, at least from UEFA, that UEFA wants the election postponed. If he gets reelected, there is going to be so much dirt coming out on him that he will not be able to maintain his position. Tell you something very interesting that happened today. Jack Warner turned himself in to authorities in Trinidad and Tobago, and he was released within hours on $2.5 million bail. It's interesting, first of all, that Warner turned himself in, especially since he has publicly maintained that he did nothing wrong. And if you don't know who Jack Warner is, for anyone who's listening, Jack Warner was the corrupt president of CONCACAF for a good 20 years, ending in 2011. He got out on bail on $2.5 million. He probably had to pay for his own bail. He is not a poor man, which tells me he's going to sing like Luciano Pavarotti when called on.
I wouldn't be, you're absolutely bang on. I would not surprise me one bit. What about Webb? I've been listening and reading all day today that apparently his son was singing a song to the authorities.
I wouldn't be surprised. You are going to see so many people basically rat each other out to save their own necks. Both of Jack Warner's sons did that earlier. I think...
maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it was Warner's son, because both W's, Warner and Webb, you could probably be right, Joseph.
But it's going to be very interesting. A lot of people are really going to go down. And one of the people who was going to go down is Michel Platini, I believe. I found this out just on the internet today. Platini and a Belgian voter, Michel Duguay, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, apparently received paintings, very expensive paintings, from Russia, courtesy of Vyacheslav Koloskov, who was working for the 2018 World Cup bid for Russia. Both of those paintings apparently were taken from the Russian state archives, either from the Kremlin or from the Hermitage, which is one of the most beautiful art museums in the world. I've been there. Platini has denied receiving a painting, but the Belgian representative said that he not only received it, but he didn't think it was worth anything, and he thought it was ugly. So this is going to be very interesting. A lot of people are going to go down. This is why I say I don't think FIFA as an organization has long to live.
And I got to tell you, I think the guy that started it all was Chuck Blazer. Here's a guy that if you've never seen him, this guy is literally bigger than life. And apparently, Joseph, from what I understand, listening and reading, the FBI caught this guy on his scooter in the New York area, pulled up and said, hey, well, we need to talk or you'll be going in for a long, long time.
Well, this is the kind of personnel that get attracted to a culture of corruption and bribery. People who are basically out for themselves and out for their immediate interests. So it shouldn't surprise anybody that Chuck Blazer would do this. Another thing to remember, Michael Garcia, who was the former U.S. attorney who oversaw FIFA's ostensible investigation into its own alleged corruption, he turned over a report to the Swiss authorities. So I am sure that the Swiss authorities were in contact with authorities in the United States and certainly in contact with Interpol regarding this. There is going to be a lot more, and it is going to surprise a lot of people. It's not going to surprise any of us who know how corrupt FIFA is, but the general public who doesn't follow this is going to be shocked at some of the garbage that comes out.
Oh, absolutely. The one that surprised me today out of all of this was that NASL angle. To me, I was shocked, surprised, I was dumbfounded, Joseph.
And if the NASL is involved, you have to start asking whether MLS is involved. You have to ask if U.S. Soccer is involved. You have to ask how deep does this corruption go, especially in North America. If there is any evidence, legitimate evidence, that Don Garber or Sunil Gulati are involved in any way, shape, or form with this, that will be a death blow to MLS. Nobody's going to want to come to the games. Nobody's going to want to support the teams, especially when you consider that MLS's biggest competition isn't against American sports, but it's against the Manchester Uniteds and FC Barcelona's and Real Madrid's of the world, major clubs that are trying to build international brands and are successfully doing so. I can tell you that when David Beckham had his first practice with the Los Angeles Galaxy, which was held in the Galaxy Stadium and which was open to the public, number one, the place was packed. Number two, roughly half the crowd was wearing Manchester United jerseys. That's how successful a lot of these major clubs have been in building their brand overseas. If MLS or U.S. Soccer is found to be in any way tainted by this, MLS won't be done, but MLS is going to take a major hit.
Well, I hope not, and that would be a shame because you and I both love U.S. Soccer and MLS, and it's near and dear to my heart and yours as well. Quickly, as we close it out in 30 seconds or less, Joseph, Sepp Blatter hasn't touched down in U.S. soil in a number of years, and people are speculating that he has not done so because he believes the charges could come against him. Do you believe that?
Oh, of course, absolutely. That's why Jack Warner hasn't been in this country for a long time. That's why he's basically in a self-imposed exile in Trinidad and Tobago. He knows Chuck Blazer very well, and he knows that if Blatter comes into this country, Chuck Blazer will sing, maybe not like Pavarotti, but he will sing like Placido Domingo, as it were. So, no, there is no way. In fact, from what I have read, he has been told, do not leave Switzerland. So, his days are numbered.
What a day, Joseph. What a day. I'm sure there's many, many more layers we're going to be peeling back in the next number of days and weeks, and it's fascinating. Forget reality shows. Forget whatever else is on TV. Follow this, because this will be a movie someday. You bet your bottom dollar. I would bet every penny I have, which isn't much, that they're going to make a movie about this unraveling of FIFA. It will be an extraordinary movie to watch. Joseph, thank you so much for taking time. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as we let you go, Where can people follow you on Twitter, and what are you working on right now quickly?
Well, right now I will be covering the Galaxy tonight against Real Salt Lake for the Deseret News in Salt Lake City, and my Twitter handle is @JoeDHip. That's JOED as in David, HIPP as in Peter.
Outstanding. I would ask everyone to follow this gentleman. He is a top-class guy. He's been in the business a number of years and knows his stuff. Joseph, thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of your evening, my friend.
Thank you, Anthony. It's always great to be on.
Joseph Hippolito, freelance soccer writer from the California, Los Angeles area.